Well, hello. My name is Somethingkindacool, aka Sky, and I hope you enjoyed that little time lapse. I finally got to work finishing up the starter base with all of its terraforming. I finally got all of this terrain done, which I'm super happy with. I really wanted to incorporate the lore of the blizzard coming through and sweeping this building up from the village to over here, which is why we've done all of this snow and stuff. I tried my best to almost give this little gradient. There's no real blocks that sort of match up perfectly, so we had to go with some tuff and that sort of stuff. I think it turned out well, though. I sort of just kept freehanding and slapping things together, and I eventually got there. But yeah, I'm super happy with this, and today we're actually going to do something that I've been spoiling for every episode. We're going to talk about this today. So I realized I didn't actually record many clips of the before, so here's a couple a little video I took of the before of the mountain. I do have a time lapse that I will be showing, but essentially I tore down an entire mountain. You can see here. I used a very powerful rocket. Anyway, you could see here of the actual where it started and what I leveled out. This is the area that a game is going to be going, which I won't mention too much for now, as I sort of slowly drip information into these videos. But yeah, here is me tearing down a mountain that took probably only a couple weeks. Surprisingly, I was quite quick with it. I did enjoy the process of digging out a mountain. So there was supposed to be a clip here, but it might as well be lost media at this point because I cannot find it anywhere. But we're gonna reenact it. So it went a little like this, okay? So what do you do once you tear down an entire mountain? Build another one. Yeah, it was probably funnier in my head. Also, pretend that there isn't already kind of a mountain here. So with my little cheaty cam here, I can hopefully show you around a little bit more. The process of getting this mountain was a lot more difficult than I first imagined. You can see there's a bunch of different styles as we go around here. I didn't know what I wanted to begin with, so it took a while for me to figure it out. You can see I've even put a flat wall here. That was one of the things to hopefully guide me, but it didn't really work out how I hoped it would. So as you see here, this is how we started off, sort of just a flat wall going upwards. This area is probably going to be torn down because I am not happy with it, but I thought I'd leave it up just to show you how the process really works, for me anyway. So this is where we started. We can go over here to starting to get more stylized in how I wanted to create this. Starting to get it here, and as we go over here, this was another flat wall that I've sort of carved out and tried to almost like add blocks to try and help the process along here. We've started to create these sort of rocks in the middle, sort of blend in the more style of what we got. I also wanted to hide a bit of stuff, so this is a little cave here that I will hopefully decorate a bit eventually. I'm going to be adding a lot more stuff like that around here. Moving on to something I actually did recently, this area here, it was completely just flat and there was no blocks at all, so I had to really come up with something here, but I did like how this eventually added a bit of a slope here. So this was my first start of actually working out what I wanted to do. You can see this is sort of just the front, but added more onto it. I started to really get it here, and moving on to this side is when I really started to like what I was building. So it took basically the whole other half of the mountain to actually find something I was happy with. So this is what we're going to be continuing on here. This is the latest area that I've started working on. So you can really see how long it took for me to get the results I was looking for. You can see there's still a lot of work to be done, as only really the back side and probably this side I'm going to be keeping. So this whole side's going to be removed, and I still have to work on this area here. But yeah, let's go in and do a bit more of this. Since it took a while for me to work out the style, I'm still working on it. But my best way to show you how I managed to get this to work is you can see here, we've made these little guides, but you can also see it just at the side of this, how you can see it sort of staircase down like that. Obviously we don't want it looking like that, but on this side you can see how it looks from the front as kind of this facade going on. Obviously we don't really care for the inside of the mountain since no one's going to see this anyway. But yeah, here is a little technique I learnt to sort of guide me. I'm just going to do this small area here, just so you can get a bit of an idea. Basically, since I've already got this set up, I won't have to worry about that too much. But I'm just going to come through, and this is a bit of a slow process, so I might speed this up. But anyway. I would also recommend Frostwalker if you are building something like this over ice, because it is extremely useful. Probably the most difficult part of doing this little template or layout, whatever you would like to call it, is making sure it lines up with the rest of the build. So I'm actually going to add quite a bit here to see how this is all going to work. But this is pretty much it. This is the simple layout or guides or whatever you want to call it to get me started. I will do more as I go. If you can see better than I can, you'll probably notice this in the time lapses. You can actually see me building these little guides throughout them. So that's all I'll do for now. Oop, that's all I'll do for now. But you can see how this guide becomes something that just sort of blends in as well. The other reason I do something like this is because this, to my brain and probably yours as well, is very intimidating to start building. It's obviously a lot of blocks and it's a lot of work, and this is scary to start. So we break it up. This now has become this. It's a lot easier for your brain to just focus on the task if the task seems a lot less daunting, as something as crazy as building this giant thing. It gets easier and easier as you go along and the space is filled out more. But as soon as you think, I don't have to do this, I just have to do this. I just have to link this side up to this side. Basically, you just continue that when something as small as just this section becomes as big as this section. Because I wanted to go for a certain style, I finally worked out that it is just essentially just a rock. It's essentially just a rock. Let me go over here and show you what I'm talking about. Obviously, mountains are made out of just big rocks. That's essentially all they are. So you make something as simple as this. Obviously it's not perfect, but that's basically it. If you can get this, you can get that. Because all this is a bigger version of this. That's all it is. So if you can take this small section here and build multiple sections, basically stacked on top of each other, that's all a mountain is. Just lots of different sized rocks. I know that seems very obvious and simple, but when you're working with something like this, you don't really think about it in that way. Your first thought is just, oh, I just place some stone, you know, build it up sort of in a certain formation and boom, done. that will lead you to doing something like this. So if you are curious to know, let's go in the statistics here. I believe it is times used. I think so. Times used. I'm nearly at 80,000 blocks. So I haven't placed stone in any other of my builds, so you can pretty much assume that almost 80,000 stone blocks are just in this mountain alone. And keep in mind, we've still got another side to do. So it's gonna be at least 100,000 stone blocks. This is gonna be a lot of work. Also, we're not done once we've placed all of this stone. I'm nearly at 8,000, 80,000, I'm nearly at 8,000, 80, god damn it. Mwahahaha. Why did that sound so evil? Okay, let's go sleep. There's only gonna be another mountain. I'm gonna wanna make it move. There's only gonna be another battle. Sometimes I gotta have to live. It's the climb. It's the climb. I love Hannah Montana.